been showing me something the past couple of days, and I wanted to tell you about it. Right here off from my front porch is a bunch of weeds and dead trees. It's clearing that was done to build my house here, and I haven't been able to keep it up or get it landscaped. Every time I look at it, I think about how ugly it is, and it's useless and grown up, and it's ugly, and I hate it. But I was sitting here the other day, yesterday actually, and I was looking at my bird feeder right here. And all the seeds gone, and I can't get up there and fill it up because I had surgery, and I just can't do all that right now. And I got all worried. It's like, God, the birds are going to get hungry, and I'm supposed to keep seeding there, and it's getting cold, and what are they going to do? And then I was sitting out here, and this flock of birds came, and they all went down to that patch right there. A bunch of little birds, and they feasted, and they feasted. A bunch of them. And then they flew off, and God was showing me that He provides for those birds, and that He can take care of them. Ooh, there's one there right now. Didn't get it. Oops, probably not. Maybe. Anyway, He's taken what I think is old and ugly and useless, and He's used it to feed the birds. And He's going to provide for those birds whether I do or not. Also, me and my dog Caleb come out here one day and stepped out on the porch, and we was just looking out over the woods, and all of a sudden there was a big rumble in those bushes or whatever right there, and everything started moving around. I thought, good Lord, and this big old buck jumped up out of there and stood there and looked at us. And you see how close it is to my porch. Stood there and looked at us, and then he took off running. And God took that, all that brush right there, and He made a safe place for that deer. It was His haven of rest. It was His cover. It was His protection. And God used it to give him that time to get away from all these deer runners around here. Also, here's a cat tree. Me and my brother built it for my cat that I had. Cat loved it. It climbed it, it played in it, it hid in that basket, it slept in that basket, it made us laugh all the time. My cat's been dead for a couple of years now, and there's not any cats anywhere around me out here. But I haven't been able to get rid of it. Let me show you why. Let's see. Because right in there, you will see bird nest. Every spring, a bird comes and makes a nest in there, and that hatches its little chicks out and feeds it and protects it, and it's safe in that basket right there. And then they hatch. So what had no use to me, and I should have just threw it away, God took it and He made some use out of it. He used it for His purposes. Got a remote, I don't know where it's at. Anyway, do you feel like you're ugly? Do you feel rejected, or that you're just good for nothing? Well, you know, it took us 2,000 years to come up with recycling, but you look around, God's been recycling all alone. He's so wise, He's so smart. He don't throw things out. He don't throw people out. He doesn't wait for good kids to be born to use them for ministries. He don't wait for you people to grow up in Christian families. He uses the prostitutes, and He uses the liars and gives them truth. And He uses the drunks because He knows they understand and they've been there. He recycles them and uses them for good things. And He also takes care of us and provides for us. In 1 Samuel 16:7, it says, "The Lord does not look at the things man looks at. Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." And Psalms 118:22 says, "The stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. Jesus was the stone that was rejected. Jesus was rejected by men, but God made him the cornerstone of everything we believe and all of our hope. And if you feel rejected, people do get rejected. They don't like you and just can't see any potential in you. But God does. God looks inside, and he can change you, and he can make you better. He can use you. And, you know, God made you. It says in Psalms 139:14 that God made you. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. And another part of Psalm says, 139:5, it says, he has laid his hand upon you. No matter where you come from, what you were born into, God laid his hand upon you. And he's your Father. And he wants to see you be successful. And I really love this one. It's Psalms 138:8. It said, the Lord will fulfill his purpose for me. God has a purpose for all of us. We're not just here just to pass the days away and not do anything, but he made you the way you are in your circumstances so that he can use you. He stands at the door and knocks, and all she does is open that door and ask him to use you for his purpose, and it'll be wonderful. It won't be easy. It'll still have problems, but it's a wonderful thing. And it doesn't matter what your teachers say. It doesn't matter what your co-workers. It doesn't matter about your finances. It doesn't matter about the color of your skin. It doesn't matter about your failures or your shame. It says he bore our shame. You don't have to carry your shame around. He took that away. Not your past, not your abilities, but God. God will use you for his purpose and his wisdom to glorify his Son and to bless you eternally with peace and unconditional love. If you've gone away from Christ and you've turned back, you used to know him and you've turned away, you know there's an empty place there, and you know where you're supposed to be, and you won't be happy till you get there. And God will not turn you away. He uses everybody that will let him. So, happy Thanksgiving, and